So what if your business could be based on everything you love to do, and you know that by building it, you're making a huge impact and you're going to be seen as a thought leader in this world? Hey, it's Melanie Benson Strick here. I'm America's leading small business optimizer. And this weekly podcast is featuring really amazing entrepreneurs and business owners who, like you, want to be able to have a big impact, explode their profits, and they really want to enjoy their life. So they've learned how to optimize their business, and you can too. So we're going to be sharing some great tips today with someone I absolutely love and adore. Let me tell you a little bit about my guest today. After expertly using multiple social media platforms to build an enormous following and catapult her brand image, our guest today, Nika Stewart, founded ghosttweeting.com, where she and her team manage the social media presence for a diverse clientele, including best-selling authors, television hosts, international speakers, thought leaders, and renowned entrepreneurs. And let me just tell you, Tika, I'm going to give you a new name. You have a nickname. Nika is so fun, and she's one of those people that I watch what she does with social media because she's clever, she's unique, she's engaging, she's energizing, she's inspiring, and I know that she's doing something that I think is a huge important piece, which is helping people who maybe aren't as good with social media or don't know where to get started, learn how to get their impact and their message out in a bigger way so that they can do what they do best. So Nika, thanks for joining us today. I'm excited to kind of pull back the curtains and really get behind the scenes with you and have you share some things that helped you build this business.
I would love it. Let's get started.
Woohoo! So by the way, while we're recording this interview today, how freaking cold is it where you live? Because I've been hearing some crazy stories about 5 degrees, 10 degrees.
It's been this week, but we're having a heat wave. We're in the upper 30s today. So.
Wow. Well, good. Okay. You know, heat waves are all relevant to where you live, aren't they? Okay.
I'm planning my trip to Florida as we speak.
Oh, awesome. That's awesome. Well, let's talk a little bit about like taking a few steps back. Why was it that you decided to build the ghost tweeting business?
Well, I built this business really because of fish.
Fish? Okay. I'm really intrigued now. I want to know why fish play into ghost tweeting.
Well, you know how if you give a man a fish, he eats for one day, but if you teach him how to fish, he eats for a lifetime. Well, really what people want is a grilled fish dinner served up to them with a beautiful on a beautiful plate with a nice placemat and nice silverware with a salad on the side. People, entrepreneurs especially, and thought leaders are so overwhelmed and busy. We don't have time to learn how to do something new and then do it every day. So I started a few years, about 4 or 5 years ago, teaching people how to market themselves and their businesses on social media. But I kept hearing people say, okay, now I know how to do it, but I wish someone would just do it for me. So people don't want to learn how to fish and then do it for themselves. They just want it done for them. And so I needed to figure out a way, because my entrepreneurial mind said, well, how can I actually do this for people and not, spend 24 hours a day working? I knew there had to be some way with systems, optimizing, getting help, automation and assistance. So I figured out how to do this and learned how to help other people so I could give them the fish dinner.
I love that analogy because this is like a conversation a lot of people have, especially when they're looking at what direction to optimize their business. And if I'm coaching and mentoring them, they're asking me, so, should I create a program? Should I teach them, coach them? And I'm like, a lot of people just want it done for them. And you're right. We want to eat the fish once it's all cooked. Most of us don't really want to learn how to be good fishermen. So that's a great analogy. I love that. And you've kind of tapped into a unique industry in the sense that your whole thing is you specialize in thought leaders and people who have a big impact that they want to make. What is it that caused you to focus on that particular niche? And I'm wondering if maybe there's like a unique challenge or problem that they have that you knew you could solve for them.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. I think the unique challenge that most thought leaders have is that they have this fabulous message, but they feel still anonymous. Not enough people know about them. They know that if their message and their mission got out to enough people, the world would change, the world would improve, lives would be better. But how do they get this message out? So they could be saying the most amazing things and not enough people are around to hear them. Like many people, when we start a new business, I didn't realize this was the niche I wanted to focus on. I kind of fell into it or figured it out after a while because I started thinking, who are my favorite clients? Who are the people who are getting the most out of what we're delivering? And I tried to see what was in common with all of these people. And it turns out that was the word that I realized they all were: thought leaders. These are people who have an amazing message to spread in the world, and people already love them and their message. And I wanted to get more people in the audience while they were on stage speaking their message to the world. I wanted more people to hear it. And we were able to do that. And so I realized, okay, instead of just by accident getting these people and helping them, let me tell people this is what we do.
So really, you got very intentional about who you were going to focus on and what problems you were going to help them solve, so that people, if they identify with that term, I'm a thought leader or I'm an expert that has a particular impact on the world, they know this is a place that helps me and I can count on, because they're going to get who I am and what my unique challenges are.
Yeah, and I feel I've seen that social media at this point in the world is such a perfect platform for spreading your message, because it's a way to leverage your voice. You know, we used to be able to speak one-on-one, and then we learned ways to speak one-to-many, and but yet all those people had to be in the room with you. And now you can speak one to the world if you do it in the most effective way. Social media is such a great platform to tell your message to the world.
I agree, but I think it also, like you said before, it overwhelms people and it confuses them, and there's so many different choices and there's so many new platforms emerging. How does a thought leader know what the right social media platform is for them to get their voice and their message out in a bigger way?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think the overwhelm comes from bright, shiny object syndrome. Something new comes out. I guess we have. You never heard?
No.
No? Okay, yeah, no, me neither. But yeah, there's so many, and there will continue to be new, shiny, beautiful things coming out. We think we have to be involved in all of it. And really, you don't. And you know that. We all know we don't, but we don't want to be left out. The truth is, though, if you spread your energy and your time and your money, you get less results. You might get a little result in 100 things. Wouldn't it be better to get 100% results in one thing? So the first thing you should think about is who is on these platforms, who is your audience, and what platform are they mostly hanging out on? And that's where you should spend most of your time. Once you master one platform, then you're able to move on and get more visibility on more platforms.
Yeah, I think that's a good, I guess, way to look at it is, where are the people I want to serve congregating already in which platform? Because truthfully, Google Plus has a certain kind of person they attract. LinkedIn has a certain kind of person. Twitter has a certain kind of person. I guess I would say Twitter and Facebook probably have the most crossover. I don't know if you share that, but Facebook and Twitter and Google Plus seem to go so well together. But it's kind of a dance figuring it all out, which is where you probably come in, because you can probably help people figure that out and not waste a bunch of time on the wrong platforms.
Yeah, I mean, if you're able to outsource, then you can be on the platform that is best for you. But if you're doing it yourself, you also, of course, want to consider what feels good to you, what you're able to do, what comes naturally and you're most excited about. There are people who naturally gravitate toward Facebook type of posting and engagement, and other people prefer Twitter or Google Plus Hangouts. It really depends on your personality. Mm-hmm. So you try to, where's the crossover between what you love, what it feels good to you, because you're going to have to spend time on it. This is marketing. You want to spend time marketing your business. So hopefully your audience is hanging out on the platform that you like to hang out on as well.
So before I get into pulling back the curtains on you and what your business has been like, I'm wondering if you have like a specific tip or strategy we could give everyone today if they were looking to optimize their approach to social media as I think a lot of people watching this would consider themselves a thought leader. So,
Hmm. Okay, so a tip, one thing that I have found to be the most effective to boost awareness of your brand the quickest is to make sure that everything you post, every single time you post, whether it's a comment on someone else's post or your posts or when you share other people's posts, make sure that everything that goes out is in alignment and in harmony with your branding and your message. You don't ever want to post something that makes people even subconsciously, because it usually will be subconscious. People won't come out and say to you, hey, that wasn't part of your brand. They'll
right.
just kind of subconsciously think, that feels weird, and move on. And then you'll need to start over again, building up awareness of your brand. You build quickest if you are always in harmony with who you are and your message and post, so it's consistency of message all the time. And that it I know that sounds obvious, and yet it is so often that we see, you see people posting things that are just not what they're trying to get out there. And I used to, when I first started on Facebook, when I first heard of it, before, when it first came out, and I thought, oh, I'll try this out, I kind of thought, well, this is a place to post whatever comes up in your mind. And I would post, ow, my back hurts. I mean, that's not that's not going to get me, position me as an expert. As my brand is more optimistic and cheerful. I'm not complaining all the time now, but I won't do that on social media. I'll be more, you look on the bright side of things. You want to always be consistent with who your brand is, or you'll lose trust.
That's a great point because I see a lot of people blur the lines between, being personable and authentic and then really like kind of crossing over just like TMI and not understanding where that line is. And I do like sometimes I'm like, what in the world is this person thinking right now? So, and I think, especially on Facebook, I see that a lot where there's just some really blurry lines and you're thinking, okay, this person obviously doesn't understand how this is impacting their brand or they don't care, which is fine. But I'm glad you brought
Yeah.
up that point.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you don't care, if you're just on for fun, that's fine. But we're talking to thought leaders who want to build awareness of who they
Right.
are and their message. So, yeah, you have to worry about everything you put out there.
There's nothing optimized about talking about how you want to run somebody over who's in front of you in the car when you're a
Yeah,
thought leader
yeah,
who's dealing with positivity and law of attraction or whatever, right? Like a little bit of a brand
yeah,
mismatch. So you got to think about that.
yeah.
Okay, I
And
like that.
yet, there are people who that is their brand, and I see them constantly posting sarcastic, snarky
Yes,
comments, and that's fine. That's who they are.
right.
But right, yeah, if your thought leadership is on positivity, yes, be positive.
Don't be a positive brand and then put a bunch of negative thoughts on Facebook. Got it. Okay, check. So let's get to know Nika a little bit more because, I've seen you be very intentional about the way in which you serve this niche and the way in which you use social media to help get the momentum. But I'm sure you've had your own ups and downs and learnings that many of us could probably find some inspiration in looking at how Nika got where she is today. What would you say has been one of your biggest challenges as you've been growing as an entrepreneur?
I always think that my biggest challenges are in my mind. So my mindset is really has always been my biggest challenge. Um, I have to continually remind myself that I'm no different than other people who are successfully growing their business. In other words, I'm not, they're just people. They're just women. They don't have extra advantages often, and they're not much more brilliant. They don't have much more education. We're all trying to build a business, and if someone else can do it, you can do it. And I have to keep reminding myself that because I'm my worst enemy. I hold myself back, and when I say it out loud, I like a challenge, and then other people say to me that's silly, then I need help. I need positive reinforcement from colleagues and to realize that I'm my worst enemy.
Yeah, so what I'm hearing you say is that your biggest challenge was really your own thinking and your own way that you saw the challenges and your opportunities. So you needed to be around other people who maybe could remind you of what's possible. And yeah, I
Yeah.
hear a lot of people say that the biggest challenge they have is because we work at home, because you work out of your home, right? We work at home. We don't necessarily have colleagues that we go to work with every day, so we have to create our own environments to stay powered up and focused on the right things.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that the I could not grow and could not have built any of my businesses without a support system, a mastermind group, a mentor, accountability buddies, being around other people. And I have employees now who come into my home office and who check in on virtually, who also help. But if you don't have those people all around you, you need to have that. You need to join a group. You need to gather some other people. Um, because yeah, people who have jobs have that part easy. There's
Mm.
someone who holds them accountable, and you just have to get stuff done. As an entrepreneur, a solopreneur, a thought leader, you need to create the accountability and encouragement for yourself.
Especially if you're somebody who has a hard time being focused on your own. Like I saw a thread the other day on social media. I think it was on a Google Plus community, and somebody was talking about how do you keep yourself disciplined when you're working from home. And I'm like, God, I don't have this problem, but I can see that a lot of people do, because my
Mm.
entire career I've basically had a routine. On certain days, I'm
Ah,
doing certain things, and I basically time chunk so that I know where I'm supposed to be and what I'm doing, and I keep my projects organized so I know what's next. But I think that accountability piece and having people around you that keep you focused. If you're not focused by nature, that would probably be pretty big.
right. Yeah, so you're naturally that way. I don't know. I From what I hear, most people are not.
I know.
So,
That's what I realized. Like, oh, this thing I do, not very many people do it.
hmm,
Yeah, I don't get distracted, so I'm not roaming around my house doing laundry and doing random things. I take breaks, but so how do you keep yourself focused? Out of curiosity, is it really just accountability, or do you have other ways to keep yourself focused?
Um, for me, also keeping focus is not the biggest issue because and brings it back to what you said when you first started, that I absolutely love what I do. So I sometimes have the opposite problem where I will lose track of time because I'm working so much on something, so focused that I don't want to stop.
Mm.
So I think being really passionate about your mission helps. You don't lose focus because you love it so much. But having setting a big goals chunked down to mini goals has always worked really well for me. So every Monday I have a goal for Friday. So if I ever feel like I'm losing focus or I'm getting bored, I have to remind myself of the goal. It has to get done. So there, it's almost like I don't have the luxury of losing focus because things have to get done.
And I want to dig into something a little bit here too. You mentioned earlier you have employees that come in, and I know a lot of people really struggle with keeping on track and keeping focused and really finding that way to manage their team members without getting sucked into being a project manager all day long. What's your
Mm.
secret for keeping yourself able to do the things you love and getting great results from your team?
Such a good question. And that's something that has been kind of new for me. This business that I have is the first time I've had um, employees rather than just virtual contractors.
Hmm.
And what has been the best thing is um, systems, and not just systems, but very micro detailed, written out checklist systems for every single thing that has to be done that I don't want to be micromanaging because I can. There's no point in hiring people and paying them and you micromanaging it. It's a complete waste of your time and money. So when I wake up in the morning, I think, okay, what can I add to this system? What other system can I add so that I can leave the office for another few hours this week and not be here? Because I want to go out and do bigger things and I want to grow the company. And I can't do that if I'm working in the company or micromanaging everyone else. So everything that has to be done more than once. And this week we worked on improving our client onboarding system. So if a new client comes in, here are the 27 steps that need to be done. And if this isn't done, then we have to go over here and you have to contact this person, down to every single micro detail, so that I can breathe and relax and know that it's being done the way I need it to be done. And then all I have to do is check in and look at the list. Oh, was that checked off? I don't have to micromanage. I can just breathe. So systems, microsystems.
I love that you said microsystems because people hear, oh, I need a system, I need a checklist, but they do these things generically or they don't do them at all. And then they're really frustrated that their team's not performing the way they want it to. And this, I think, I teach Build Your Dream Team, and that is one of the things I just drill in over and over and over again. You've got to be able to have specific detail. The more specific training and detail you give, the easier it is to walk away and know and trust that it's going to get done the way you want.
Yeah, and I thought this for a long time, that I just, because number one, it's all in my head, it's a lot easier to just do it or tell someone as it comes up than to write it down.
Yes.
But, I mean, I don't know how
Guilty.
people, right? It's just so much easier. And yet, please do it. It really, it allows me now to breathe and to go to sleep at night and not wake up 3 or 4 times in the middle of the night thinking, wait, was that done? Oh my gosh, did I tell someone? No, it's on a system. It's okay. It's a checklist. It's going to get done.
You are speaking words that are torture for so many business owners. And I know it's that 4 a.m. wake up stress moment where it's like, oh my God, did that get done? So I really love hearing you say that because I know it's worked for me. It took me a long time to get there. I had to force myself to do it because I was tired of being stressed out. And, that minute detail makes a big difference. Well, so speaking of things that are working, I know in every business owner's life, there is a game-changing moment where you realize there was a strategy or a technique that when you put it into action, your business changed. Like things just started to work right and, you were getting better results. Maybe it was like the thing that turned on the faucet of clients. For some people, it's like what really makes your time work better. What would you say is that one technique or strategy that's just been really invaluable in terms of helping you optimize the results in your business?
For me, it's interesting because we were talking focus, but I think focus in a broader sense is what helped me. And it was in a mastermind group of high-level women entrepreneurs where I came to the conclusion and got help coming to the conclusion that I needed to focus on one niche or topic. Like many entrepreneurs, I'm multi-passionate. I have many things I like to do, but and we were saying on social media, if you spread your energy into too many things, it's harder to become a success.
Yes.
And when I one day said, you know what, social media and helping people grow their visibility on social media is the one thing I'm going to focus 100% of my business time on. Within 4 months, I went from, it was really literally a new business. I had been teaching social media, and one day, this is what I said, I'm going to just do social media done for you rather than these 20 other programs and products that I'm doing. And within 4 months, turned it into a high-level business. So for me, it was focus. It doesn't mean, I think it's hard for people because we all have so many interests. And I think you can still have those interests, but choose one thing, one group of people, one service, one topic, one industry, and totally focus all your energy. It meant, for me, saying no to income opportunities because I knew that would take away time from building this one focus. And I kept having to say to myself, no, it's okay. I know, here's $500 I have to turn down. Here's $1,000 I have to turn down. But seriously, if I take that time away from my business, it won't be good. And it really worked out very well. So I am totally focused.
That's great. And I'm just wondering, can you take us a little deeper into what it was like before you made that decision? Because I see a lot of people struggle with making this decision. They fight it, they resist it, but it's the very thing they need. I just want to help people see, if they're in that space, what it might feel like or look like, knowing it might be time to make a similar focus decision.
Yeah, well, for me, I was running an online marketing business, helping people market their business online, create products, but it spread out. So anything related to business, if someone needed help, I'd say, "Oh, I can help you. I know how to do that, so I'll help you, and let me create a product about that, or let me create a coaching call or a session about that." And so I'd create new products, I'd create new programs, which meant I have to create new websites or web pages and new blog articles to promote them, and a different Facebook page to talk about that, a different Twitter handle, or what is my branding this week. Um, and I mean, it's so common. I hear so many people like that, right? Like you
Mm-hmm.
have 6 Twitter handles or one, but nobody really knows who you are because you have so many different passions and interests, which again is fine. You're allowed to have a personality that has lots of interests. But I think people take you more seriously when you have one way to make money. Now, what's interesting is as I've grown and gotten involved in leadership groups and mastermind groups with high level women, I realized that even high level women with multi-million dollar businesses have multiple passions and interests. And many of these high level women even have several businesses with
Mm-hmm.
several topics. But they first grew one business, systemized it in such a way that they could then step out of it, and then went on to grow a new business. And I think that really is the big difference that I see. Many of us try to grow 3 different businesses
At the same time.
when, yes, and so we're spreading our energy. So we're taking 1/3 of our time and energy and money into each business. And if you take 100%, you can grow a business a lot quicker and add those systems so that you can step out and delegate and outsource and automate and schedule so that you have more time to now step out. So now it's running like a well-oiled machine, and you have the time and energy to now start something new.
So here's what I love about what you're saying, and I totally agree with you, by the way. It's that when you're in the space where you're going too many different directions, you're diluting your impact. Your
Mm-hmm.
profits are low. Probably you aren't even profitable in any of these areas because you've got all this time, money, and energy going into too many different things, and your revenues are low because you have to basically move from one thing to the next to get any of them to start working properly. And you're probably really overwhelmed in that space.
Yes, yeah, and I'm all tensed up listening to you because it's like, yes,
You're like, no, I don't want to go back. I don't want to go
no.
back.
Yeah. So yeah, so it's you're right, like you said, I like the word diluted. You're diluting it all when you really want to have it pure. Well, your energy and your passion needs to be pure and all put into one place.
Yeah, I
Because
love
imagine the
that.
energy
And
right
I've,
there.
I've I've been the same person. I think it's really important that people understand that you can have a lot of creative elements of who you are, but just because you have a creative idea doesn't mean you have to say yes to it.
That's true. And that's one thing that I learned too is that not everything needs to be a new business. It can just be a
Yes.
hobby.
Or an idea that you help somebody else create. I had
Right.
a coaching client one time. He used to show up with a new idea every time we were going to coach on things. And I finally said, Mark, okay, just because you have an idea doesn't mean you have to like take action on it, make it your business. Give the idea to someone else. Make the
Right.
business you have work better. So yes, I think this
Mm.
is great insight, and I'm glad to hear someone else besides me has found that is the key to optimizing. So I'm wondering, for you, what is a mantra or a quote that keeps you really centered and grounded on what's important to you?
Oh gosh, yeah, I've been thinking about that, and I don't know if there is one mantra or quote, but the one that comes to mind, and I don't know if it's actually a quote or if it's just something that I always tell myself, but that I am the driver of this vehicle called life or business. So if I'm not happy with how things are going or the journey I'm on, all I need to do is turn the wheel because I am in charge and I have freedom, um and so I don't have, instead of complaining, just turn the wheel and go somewhere I want to go.
I love
Um
that.
yeah. Good. Yeah, and I also think that I need to remind myself also that this is my choice. So if I'm overwhelmed or stressed, I have to say to myself, "Wait, but I could choose something else. But I love running a business, and so instead of feeling overwhelmed, feel excited." So that's how I try to live my life, so I can feel positive and optimistic and energized.
Yeah, I like that. It's like, you have to be responsible for what you're allowing yourself to focus on and to take control and be willing to change gears if you don't like the experience you're having. I think that's a hard one for a lot of people. Do you see that? That it's hard for people to actually decide they're going to take responsibility and create a new direction for themselves?
Yeah, it is because I mean it must be because anytime I have ever posted anything about, this is all your choice, I there's a lot of haters and complainers who say, "Well, how dare you? But life is really hard and I'm not happy and how dare you say that it's my choice?" And, I'm not insensitive. I know that there are people going through things that are tough, but I still think that if you are blaming outside sources and not taking your own responsibility, then you'll continue to have more stress and troubles.
Yeah, I look at it like what you focus on expands.
Mm.
Yeah, it's almost
Yes.
like it's really easy to see and gather evidence for all the things that are going wrong, if that's what's in your mind. And it's
Right.
really more fulfilling and exciting. And like you said, a great way to stay positive if you can focus on the things that are going well. It's contagious. And I was thinking
Yeah,
about this today. People want to be around people that make them feel good.
of course.
So, as a thought leader, you've got to really look at, are you in a place where you can
Mm.
make people feel good because you're spreading things that make them feel alive and inspired? Or are you, grumpy and, kind of
Right.
rough? And, again, I guess that's going to attract a different kind of person, but not the kind of people I'm wanting to attract.
Yeah, so but that's such a good point. As a thought leader, you want to attract a lot of people. You want people to want to be around you. So make people feel good and they'll want to be around you.
Great. So, what is one last piece of advice? If you could just give someone who's a business owner who wants to make their business work better, what's one thing you could leave them with today that would make them feel inspired and positive?
Oh my gosh, it feels really broad. So can you narrow that down?
Just a piece of advice you could give people today to help them optimize their business better.
Okay, well, since social media is my favorite way to optimize my business, I would say if you're going to add additional marketing to get more visibility and more people aware of you and what you do, um, rather than promoting yourself or your products or services on social media, spend a little time each day showing love or promoting someone else or telling someone else how awesome they are. It turns out that social media, like in life, the way you get people's attention and have them wanting to see what you're up to is by showing them that you're interested in them. Um, I kind of liken this to if you're in a big room and everyone is screaming at the top of their lungs, which is typical for social media and marketing and advertising. People are screaming, "Look at me, buy my stuff, click over here, opt in over here." You stop hearing anything. But if someone gently taps you on the shoulder and whispers in your ear, "Hey, that blog post you wrote yesterday was really cool. I love that. Thank you for inspiring me." Well, you turn your head and you look at them and you look over and you want to learn more about them.
Yeah.
So how to get more visibility for yourself and grow visibility and awareness of your business is you show love to other people on social media.
Well said. I love that. And you're so good at that.
Oh, thank you.
So, what's next for you, Nika, and in ghost tweeting?
Wow, what is next for us? Well, we just hired a new employee and are about to hire someone else. So we're having fun growing. And I realized for me that I am really excited about growing my company because I love giving people jobs. I do. I love giving people the opportunity to have their dream job. And a lot of our employees say that these are their dream jobs because my personal viewpoint is that people need to be flexible and work on their own terms.
Mm-hmm.
And so all of our employees are, we have flexible, many virtual um, positions, and I want more people to have that kind of life. So I'm going to grow my company so I can give more dream jobs to people around the world.
How awesome. I love that. That's so cool. And so how do people find you, Nika?
Well, on Twitter, I am on 24 hours a day.
Wait a minute, you're sleeping in there somewhere. Tell me for
I'm in my
sure.
sleep, yes.
Okay.
And yes, my team does handle a lot of my social media too, so I have visibility on there all the time. But I'm at Nika Stewart on Twitter, and my website is ghosttweeting.com. And if you want to chat with me, say hello on Twitter or shoot me an email through our website.
Great. Yeah, and I recommend that you go check that out, especially if you're somebody who you know you've got a big impact and you want to be able to get greater visibility. I love that you said earlier, like sometimes these thought leaders feel like they're so anonymous. It's like they're the best kept secret and you're not really sure where to start. Go check out the ghost tweeting packages. They're awesome. Nika's awesome. Her team is really extraordinary. And it's a great way to get things off the ground and get some traction fast without having to figure it all out by yourself. So thanks, Nika, for coming and
Thank
being here today
you,
and sharing the
Melanie.
inside scoop and being one of the optimizers that we can look up to and learn from.
Great. Thank you so much.
All right, we'd love to hear from you. What's something that really sparked your interest? Was an aha, something you could put into action today? Be sure to share your thoughts in the blog below. And watch us next week for another exciting edition of Small Business Optimizer. Bye, everyone.